How would you grade Dan Gilbert's press conference, Pablo?
You know, Jen, it's really fun to see a billionaire, especially a billionaire who wrote perhaps the most foreseeably regrettable letter in sports history, try and stick to a script. And that's what this was. So if we're going to grade him on this curve that he had a goal, that he wasn't speaking to Kyrie, he wasn't speaking to LeBron, he wasn't speaking to the media, he was speaking to specifically other teams. He was speaking to other teams because he had one goal in that press conference. Do not decrease what other teams think they got to give up to get Kyrie Irving. And from that perspective, I think it made sense. The problem, though, Bo, you may have noticed, they never acknowledged that Kyrie Irving requested a trade. And that's the tell. You can say all that and be very rank and file with that message, but it seemed a little conspicuous, didn't it?
Right, I mean, here's the thing. Either you are saying that Kyrie Irving did request a trade or did not. If you don't say he did not, then you were saying that he did, right?
Correct.
So their whole game, but you're right. If they say that he's requested a trade, then all of a sudden the value somehow goes down. Dude, we know, man. Like,
we know!
Right, the whole message I got from this, I wanted to give Dan Gilbert was like, dude, we know. He tried to say with Chauncey Billups that it was not a matter of money, that it was just a matter of timing. And he said, frankly, it was better for him and for us.
Sure.
Where y'all both said no at the same time.
Right.
Because it doesn't sound to me like you both said no at the same time. He said it was not financial. And look, I have not talked to Chauncey Billups personally. However, dog, he works here. Like, does Dan Gilbert know
works here.
Like, we know people who know people. Like, people aren't just guessing about this thing with Chauncey Billups and money. You have a track record on that. So it becomes tricky once you start this press conference and you look at it and you're like, okay, you did pretty well here. And then you're like, wait a minute, man. This sounds like lies.
Yes.
And once that sounds like lies and it sounds just like the other stuff you say, the best you can give him is a C, right? He didn't fully embarrass himself. And when you got billions, that's passing.
Right, right. And I think there is something to say about the need to be a sort of distortion field of reality, right? Because one of the things that we have learned is if you got a car and you're, let's say, allergic to the leather interior, you don't tell everybody else, you know what? Here's a car I'm trying to sell you. I'm allergic to the leather interior. I get it, but one of the things that I do want to commend Dan Gilbert for, and Bomani, you're a professor in a former life, so you're a harsher grader than me, I think. I'm going to give him a B because he did something in holding this press conference that a lot of owners would never do. Jim Dolan, we have been waiting for him in New York to come in front of us and take questions. At the very least, Dan Gilbert took questions.
I was shocked that he was there. Like, when he talked about this, I was shocked that he was there. They also went through a run of talking about assets that this team had, and it seemed to take a while before LeBron's name came up anywhere in the neighborhood.
The clock was running until it showed up.
But to be fair to Dan Gilbert, what is he supposed to do? Right? Like, what are you supposed to do in that circumstance? All you're trying to do is let everybody know we're holding it together. Everything's fine, right? That's what he's telling us. Everything's fine, except it's not fine, man. And part of the fact that it's not fine is that you're having this press conference in the first place.
Right. When your billionaire owner, who is known to be something of a maverick in our world, shows up with these cue cards. And on those cue cards are written the biographical information of all of the back of the house front office people. I read that as either A, what a kind and noble gesture to appreciate all of these people we do not see otherwise, or B, man, these guys need to filibuster and fill time because they know the questions are coming. And the questions did come. And on that level, yeah, I think the most interesting thing he ended up saying, of course, was this thing about the Pacers.
Yeah, and also the cue cards, by the way. The cue cards let me know that the reason Dan Gilbert looked like he just woke up is apparently he was studying all night trying to learn the names of all the people at this thing.
Yes.
Like, it's always
very important, Bob.
Yeah, right. It's Bob, and then you got like Kobe Altman sitting there in his suit and tie because this is my big moment. And Dan Gilbert's over there like, I got billions. I didn't even shave. I'm just here to show up. But yeah, him talking about the Pacers.
That was the thing that was fascinating to me. Was that he was willing to throw someone else out there, even if it wasn't one of the things we were asking him to talk about. He threw out this whole other different data point, which was that the Indiana Pacers, they should have done the deal with us.
Right. But again, that is not terribly out of line, though, with the Chauncey Billups thing, right? And we'll talk more about what the deal might have been, or whether we take Dan Gilbert at face value. Everybody loves to say this about a trade situation. Why didn't you make the trade? Well, they could have done better. And then it gives this hint that, we actually offered them LeBron. I don't understand why they didn't do that because we don't have a great idea.
Well, if you're a Cavs fan today, do you feel better about your franchise or do you feel a little worse?
No, you don't feel good. You can't feel good at this moment. You can't feel good because you know Kyrie wants to be gone. Just because Dan Gilbert didn't say anything about it, you know that Kyrie wants to be gone. They are in an absolute state of flux. They are in a place where they have a new general manager that they don't know very much about, and they still got that same dude owning the team. What is there for you to feel good about? And it's crazy. They should feel good about LeBron. They should feel good about the fact they've been to the finals 3 straight times.
Yes.
The Warriors have thrown the math on everything off to the point where a team that's made the finals 3 straight times and has the best player in the world seems so far away from where they need to be.
Absolutely.